All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to today's webinar. I hope you can hear me well and you can also see my screen. My name is Fabian. I work on the marketing team at Adjust, and I'm going to be the host for today's webinar. The topic today is video ads, the key to acquiring high-quality new users. I'm very happy that it's not only me talking today, but we actually have a great cast of presenters here today. So on the left-hand side, I'm just going to start presenting them to you, is Gina. She works at Smeal and does user acquisition, and she's going to present some of her best tips and tricks from the advertiser side. She's also a joint customer of both Applovin and Adjust. We also have Helen with us today. She works for Applovin and is the Director of Growth Partnerships there. She will also share some best practices for companies maybe starting out just now with video advertising. And then on the right-hand side, we have Katie. She's the Director of Product at Adjust, and she's going to zoom in more on the measurement side and how to actually understand how your video ads are performing for your app at driving new users. Before we get started, a few things, some housekeeping. So the whole webinar will take about 35-40 minutes. We've planned also some questions at the end, so you can ask them at any time. You see this GoToWebinar question panel. If you're not familiar with it, just type in your questions, we'll get those, and then we can distribute them at the end. Best would be to just write the name of the person you would like to direct the question to, and then it's very easy to distribute them. Also, very important, we'll record this and also share the slides via email after the webinar is over, so you can pass them around or look at them again if you want to. Quick look at what we've planned for today. So a very short intro, then Applovin will start and we'll talk about how to acquire users with video ads. Smeal, they'll talk about their best practices of advertising in many different countries for many different apps and what they've learned so far from using video. And then at the last, Katie will talk about measurement and how to successfully attribute ROI to video ad campaigns. And then at the end, we'll take all the questions that you guys have. Before we start, I just wanted to take a quick look at video ads in general. And why we're talking about video ads is basically because the opportunity is so massive. So as you see here, I've put a few stats down for you guys to get started. So video ads have doubled in volume over the last couple of years. So you can really see that more and more brands, more and more apps are basically using them or getting started with video ads. So it's a format that seems to be working for many advertisers. And that's the reason why more and more people jump on board. Also, you can see that US mobile video ad spend will reach 7 billion in 2019. Currently, we're at about 5 billion. So we'll be adding about 1 billion in ad spend for mobile video ads per year, leading up to 2019. And last but not least, I think probably the main reason why video ads are so popular is simply because they seem to work. So you can see here 3 times higher retention for video ads versus non-video ads for new users. So that's super exciting, I think, to hear. And I'm also excited to obviously hear a bit more from our speakers, what they have to share in terms of secrets with you guys out there trying to get your ROI from video ads. So without further ado, I would like to pass it on to Helen from Applovin.
Thank you, Fabian, for that generous intro. Today I'm going to talk to you about what is Applovin, what is it that we do, and also share with everyone some best practices for video ads. Applovin helps brands reach new customers on mobile. We have access to over 2 billion devices worldwide. We partner with brands to help them identify users who are likely to download, and then we determine the right amount to bid to acquire them. We help brands gain insight from data and react to it in real time so that they can scale their campaigns quickly to reach a high volume of new users. It's really about getting great results at scale so you're achieving your marketing goals. Here's how brands use our platform. They view and understand analytics. Then from there, they create relevant in-app campaigns. And by fine-tuning those campaigns based on the data, they can reach new users at massive scale. And the scale really is massive. We process 50 billion ad requests per day and 500,000 ad requests per second. When we work with brands, it's a true partnership. The brand's data and our experience help fuel our algorithms, and these algorithms find quality new users and determine what they're worth in an auction environment. Our platform places videos on thousands of highly active apps in the mobile ecosystem, and this ranges from games to music, social, and entertainment categories. Applovin uses programmatic real-time optimizations to serve and scale your video ads on the most relevant apps for your product. Overall, video ads account for about 77% of our business in terms of ad spend, so the value proposition is really high. Video is the most highly demanded ad unit in mobile today because the user engagement is so high. If you think about this, it's basically a 30-second TV-style commercial that tells the user a lot about your product. And as a result, we've seen the conversion rates are dramatically higher with video ads. They're sometimes more than 300% higher than with other ad formats. We've also seen on our platform that on average, video ads lead to 40% better retention than non-video formats. So this is a really important unit to invest in. I'd like to share with you some best practices that could help you with your video ad strategy. For sure, you want to constantly test new videos. You're going to want to, in a very fluid market, test different concepts and themes to try to find out what engages best with your users. From there, you'll want to iterate on your highest performing concepts, find ways to reproduce what works and depart from what doesn't work. Based on that, you're going to want to share your conversion data with your ad networks. You can do this through a mobile measurement partner like Adjust, and that conversion data should include installs and downstream conversion events that you care about, and this will tell your ad networks about how your ads perform so we can help you optimize. You'll definitely want to run both landscape and portrait video orientations for a better user experience. In today's market, publishers will have both horizontal and vertical landscapes, so you want to ensure full coverage. And localizing your videos is really important too as you start to expand your marketing strategy globally. If you're advertising an app, you want to make sure that it's clear in the ad how the app functions. For example, demonstrate the app's core elements or features so the user gets a really good idea of what exactly they can do with your app after they install it. If you're advertising a product, leverage the intimacy of the mobile device by speaking directly to the viewer one-on-one. It's also worth keeping in mind that end cards are often paired with the video. And it's a good opportunity to show a strong call to action for users to click on the ad so they can continue to the App Store to download your app. In summary, with video ads, you can do quite a bit. You can use conversion data to acquire valuable new users at scale. You can test video creative and iterate upon what's most successful. And you can enjoy dramatically higher conversion rates and retention rates with video ads. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Gina.
Thanks, Helen. So basically, I'm going to give a brief intro with Smeal. Smeal is a music mobile apps company with a mission to connect the world through music. We have a variety of apps that you can download on iOS and Android. That includes our biggest by far is the Sing Karaoke app and the Magic Piano app. We have over 50 million users worldwide and continue to grow with the help of creatives and campaign optimization. So our team, to have a little bit of a background on the user acquisition team, our team is quite small, which is 6 people managing advertising in over 40 countries. As you can see here, this is just a sample of our apps. It's definitely the Sting app that is the most engaging and really a music social networking app that we have. And really, our team manages different regions and different channels with cross collaboration on the campaign optimizations. And the goal is to not only bring in high quality users, but also engaged users as well, since that will really help the metrics down the funnel. Some background on acquisition channels that we use at Smeal. Like most UA managers and teams, we do advertise on social networks like Facebook and Instagram, and also ad partners like Applovin, ad networks, DSPs, but we also work with local ad networks and agencies in the regions that we buy from, especially that might not be available to the bigger players that are out there. And also the Google properties like search and YouTube, which is very effective with creatives like video. So to dive right into the video ads, Smeal really uses almost 100% creative assets where the placement is available in all UA, social, branding placements. And really, we have very streamlined creative testing and tracking, which is a huge part of our UA strategy and optimization. And as an overall big picture, really like content is key, and really refresh often in your creatives is a big overarching theme here. So to talk about how to really optimize video ads, which is quite similar to static and GIF ads as well. What we have found at Smeal is that user-generated content, when available from your app, is the best way to connect with potential high-quality users, where they see how the app is going to be when they click and install the app. And also, for example, for our Sing app, it really encourages users to engage with other users and sing together and post their content online, which also generates more social interaction. And really to pick the different channels for consistent testing when you're testing new concepts, right? Where you want to make sure that that channel will give you give the new creative a chance to have as close as possible the impressions where you know that you have the best testing results. And again, really creative refresh often and test different concepts. So other things that we've really learned from video ads with the different channels that we have been testing is really on top of really testing the creatives, but have localized content where available. Videos that are popular or that will work in Southeast Asia might not work in Western Europe. So testing the different concepts and different, hopefully, user-generated content or a different variable could really make a big difference between, maybe normal click-through rate and the champion that you will use to test other creatives. We have also found that each network will have its own, obviously, video spec requirements with like Helen mentioned, end cards or sometimes can be different. They might require special end cards with call to action. Also, really testing one concept variable at a time, where you know that the performance can be attributed to that test, that variable for that test. And again, really performance will be different by platform, region, channel. So having all these variations and being able to not only effectively test on these networks, but be able to track them properly with the names and attributing the different KPIs within each platform, region, and channel that you're testing is very much vital to the learnings that you can make decisions on for the next batch of tests. So to go over some like important metrics that I think a lot of UA teams, managers will already be familiar with, but for Smeal, we do have a couple that might be a little different. So, I mean, click-through rates, very common. Cost per install sometimes is effective cost per install if you're paying on a CPC or CPM, which is cost per click and cost per 1,000 impressions. And because we're able to track on such a granular level with Applovin and Adjust, we are able to see return on investment, which is ROI, and cost per trial, which is on all of our iOS apps, where you can try out the app for 7 days before you would have to subscribe, which is what model that we're on, which is a subscription model. So to sum it up, what's really interesting and very effective with the partnership with Applovin and Adjust for Smeal is that first, we have the Adjust SDK integrated in all of our apps, both on iOS and Android, the ones that we market, and we're able to really directly post these KPI metrics from Adjust to our testing partners or campaign partners like Applovin, and the UI reporting on Adjust with these KPIs can be reported down to the creative level with internal Smeal data so that we can see, the ROI, the cost per trial, cost per registration, cost per subscription, and that is very effective in figuring out which test and which creative and which variable works for the different regions and the different channels that we test in. And with partners like Applovin, it's really the only partner that we've seen with ad networks that can really give us transparent self-serve platform with pub and creative performance stats like by the in real time, and with the effective integration between Adjust and Applovin, we're able to do this very much seamlessly without a lot of work on Smeal and advertiser end. And with the support that we have from Applovin, we're able to test creatives, with the schedule and optimize accordingly. So that's how we do that at Smeal. And with that, I will pass it on to Katie from Adjust.
Okay, so just going to go back into it. Basically, when deciding on your MMP, there's a lot of us out there, right? So what I would consider the main differentiator for Adjust is you have a lot of data. You're working with a lot of different networks. You're trying a lot of different campaigns like video. And what you need from an MMP is basically a platform where you can not only measure, but make decisions and then share those results in real time. So moving into Adjust, we are an MMP that started back in 2012. Our main goal and mission is to simplify the mobile ecosystem. Moving into some different screenshots from our specific platform. So with Adjust, something that definitely kind of sets us apart is we feel that re-engagement is actually going to be a huge focus for 2017 regarding mobile marketing. What that means is in Adjust, you can actually set up and track as many in-app events as you choose for free. So for the different things like trial, registration, subscription, you're able to track all of those separate events in Adjust. And then, for example, if you want to work with a partner like Applovin, you would go into your Adjust dashboard. Here you'll just see a simple screenshot of your Applovin module. You'd go into event linking, and then you'd see all of the various events that you've set up with Adjust. You can then choose what you want to send, and the moment that you enter that, Adjust will automatically send all of this event data back to Applovin. What that means is for those various video campaigns where you're running maybe 20 different types of creative, is they can automatically change the algorithms they're sharing so that they can optimize and send the right video ad to the right user. So maybe, for example, someone hasn't actually subscribed yet. Applovin can send them something that, you know, really compels them and has that type of creative that they've tested that they know can push that user to convert. Here's a quick example of some of the KPIs that we're able to show. So this one's the click-through rate, which is obviously a pretty valuable KPI for Smeal. So within your dashboard, you're able to go into our statistics section. Here you'll see a screenshot of what we call our deliverables data. Deliverables is basically actuals. So basically anything that occurred within the time frame that you've specified, this will be in your deliverables section. So to note, this is different than cohorted data. Cohorted data is all based on when the user installed, so that you have groups and cohorts of users that you can track over time. This gives you that high-level example of what users are doing and what ads they're clicking on. You'll see here in the graph that I've selected some different campaigns. We have 4 different levels of data, so you could click all the way down from campaign to the creative ad set so that you can know which of those video creatives are performing the best. Additionally, if you look on the right-hand side here, you'll see all the different filtering options. So filtering everything from country. I know that for Smeal, they advertise in over 40 different countries. So obviously being able to specify that to see the differing performances is key. You can also filter by platform, time zone, click and impression data. Something else that's definitely valuable for Smeal. So Gina mentioned that subscription actually occurs after 7 days. You get a 7-day free trial, and then that's when that real conversion moment happens. So that's when you would want to come in and really hone in on your cohorts data. Here you can see just a saved chart that I made that basically will show you all the different kind of KPIs that you find important. So what I've selected here are retained users as well as retention rate. And then the final column you'll see is time spent per user. I know it's cut off a little bit there. What you can do is you can scroll, and in this example I'm looking at all users who installed in the last 30 days and their retention at that 8-day mark. So for Smeal, the idea here would obviously to have a very high retained user count, high retention rate. Once again, you're able to see this down to the creative level, so you really can optimize and move your budget towards those creative assets that really are moving the needle. The final screenshot I wanted to share with you guys is another one from cohorts. So this one's focusing in on ROI. Going back to being able to track as many events as you want with Adjust, one of the key events that you're going to want to track is a revenue-based event. So if you have something like a subscription model, that's where you can send Adjust any of those subscriptions along with the revenue amount. What we can then do is compare it to your cost data, so the cost for those various creative assets, and then give you that true ROI. You can select that within your filtering, and then you can also see once again that you can get that country platform level data. Something additional that's actually pretty new within Adjust is you can also define the day. So 24-hour versus calendar day retention, making sure that you're not getting that skewed data if you are looking at a differing time zone, for example, PST. So all of that can be customized, saved, so that when you log into your Adjust dashboard, you can easily and quickly get to any of the KPIs that matter most to you. On the back-end side, we're sending all of this data in real time to the partners like Applovin that you want to make sure are actually serving the right ad to the right user at the right time.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, everybody. Helen, of course. Learned quite a bit. I think it was good stuff to hear that from the people that actually use video ads all the time. And I've just taken a quick look. We have a few questions that I'd like to also go into. So the first question was actually for Gina. And you've mentioned that you advertise in more than 40 countries. You have iOS apps as well as Android apps. So what I would like to understand is, what have you seen in terms of trends for those? Are there any things that work in specific regions that you now know after having tested so many creatives and different channels that you would never do again, for example, or things that you would try in certain markets that you know would not work in others? That is something that I think is something very, very interesting for people to know.
So, I mean, I think something that is pretty common, I think, for video ads is that, you know, you want to show people that are from that region. For example, like, you know, people who are Caucasian would generally work better in a region where it would be where they're populated, like Southeast Asian countries would appreciate, like, you know, the content and users from that region. So that's pretty, that's something we've learned. And some things are pretty interesting is that sometimes some of the beautifully shot videos might not work that well if it does not connect to the users. If they don't feel like it's something that they would enjoy doing in the app itself, doesn't convert as well for those campaigns. And for iOS and Android, I think for video, I think it's still fairly common that how iOS app would perform would be the same whether it's the same video or not on Android. So basically, iOS users will still be a little bit higher ROI than Android users. So that's what we've found in the campaigns that we've seen.
Great. And maybe, I don't know if this is a better question to ask to you, Helen, or to you, Gina. Maybe both of you can share your thoughts, but how does the testing and optimization part work? Because we've underscored and emphasized that that's a very important element, but how does it actually work in practice? How do you go about producing and testing those creatives and performing A/B tests, I would assume?
I can start the part of the answer part of the question. So for Smeal, how we create ads is really picking in that region or that country what the most popular video is in the app, and then our creative team will you know, cut it down to the size that we need and put it together in the ad format that we would want to test. And then that kind of builds on different elements that we would test and different ideas that we might come up with. Like in the presentation, you see that some of them are side by side, some of them are like tiles. We have tested those concepts along with the different call to actions that we also have at the end of the video and sometimes on the end cards, depending on the spec requirements of the networks. And that's how we would test with different ad networks. And specifically with Applovin, the team has been very generous with their time in helping us coming up with, you know, creative ideas. Actually, one of the best performing videos is created by Applovin. We all enjoy that very much. And it's having that kind of, you know, creative team and support and really optimizing these videos is in the Applovin UI is quite easy because I can go in and pause something or, you know, edit like the name, or if I want to add in something by myself, it's quite easy as well. So that helps in real time and less turnaround waiting.
I'm happy to add some additional color to this question too. This is Helen from Applovin. I think for most marketers that are looking to build in-app campaigns and thinking about the videos that they want to run, the question is really, okay, if I have, let's say, half a dozen videos, which one of these is going to perform the best so that I know which one to scale out further? I think definitely having a variety of concepts is helpful. As Gina alluded, you know, being able to iterate on certain motifs or themes or concepts, having a variety of these so that you can test within a controlled framework definitely helps. You're going to probably want to launch them at the same time, analyze them in a controlled environment, let's say a couple of publisher level placements. But what you're really looking for is some key metrics. your click-through rate is going to be important, your install rate is going to be important, potentially even the downstream conversions that are resulting from these video views. So once you've served these ads, you've collected some key metrics, you're going to be able to put them side by side and determine which videos are worth continuing to invest more resources in and to scale out further.
Great, thanks guys for the very balanced view and those two answers. I think they're very helpful. We talked about one metric, and that's probably the #1 metric that most people look at is kind of CTR, so click-through rate for those ads. What people always want to know, and that's also one of the questions that we got, is benchmarks, right? So what is a good click-through rate for my video ad? What is a bad one? Where should I test and optimize more? Maybe again to you, Gina and Helen, what is kind of a range that you've seen that you would say is decent or acceptable, and where would you say, oh, please do some more testing, or maybe the creatives are not right, maybe I've not narrowed down the audience enough? Where would you say should people look in terms of benchmarks?
I could speak to this a bit. This is Helen from Applovin again. I think this question comes up quite a bit with new partners that enter our platform. I think there's certainly a perhaps a desire to look at click-through rates on an aggregate level. Certainly it's easier to be able to see the data aggregated up to the highest level. But I would encourage all marketers to definitely be open to the fact that these videos are being served across thousands of publisher placements. Typical click-through rates may be high single digits to low double digits, but it really does vary from placement to placement. And so when looking at the key metrics and results out of these ads, it would be wise to filter to a publisher placement level so that you can do a true apples to apples comparison between different video variations on a single publisher.
Great. Gina, do you have maybe something to add from your, let's say, day-to-day life working in user acquisition and testing videos and looking at kind of the CTR as one of your metrics, one of your key KPIs, something that you've seen in the industry or especially for your vertical?
Sure. So for us, click-through rate is definitely something we look at quite often. But I think for Smeal, and I think a lot of mobile marketers, you do want to look more downstream as well with the information available. So having data like impression to install, if you're paying on a CPI, is quite important, right? Understanding like how much this creative is costing you. And then, it also ultimately backs out for the network as well, because if it has a higher impression to install, it will get shown more often generally. If, like, Helen said, if it's like on the same publisher, right? So having that kind of comparison would be ideal, but sometimes you might not be able to, because, in a network like Applovin, where you go through so many pubs that sometimes you're really only looking at the creative itself. And with the information that we have, we can look at, downstream as well, like cost per trial for us, because we do offer a 7-day trial before you have to subscribe. So looking at those metrics and, even ROI for the ones that have a lot more traffic and spend, you can see downstream if it makes a huge difference in terms of compared to other creatives that you're testing. So without if you need to make a decision right away, I think that one of the key metrics that you would want to look at is impression to install.
Perfect. Yeah, I think CTR is obviously one metric, but that's not enough to really evaluate ROI, as Katie also showed. So there's a bunch of metrics you should always monitor. Maybe as a last question before we finish up for today, we have a couple of bigger conferences coming up in San Francisco, in Barcelona next week, for example, with MWC. So I just wanted to kind of understand from you guys, what do you see coming next for video? Is there something besides continuous optimization that advertisers should do that you think is kind of the next big thing there, and that you're looking forward to in the realm of video?
So this is Gina. I will jump in and I will say the things that we hope to see, hopefully. I think that with video assets, we are testing a lot, but like, you know, we with the user-generated content, it does get limited, right, to find the right user that will appeal to different like what, you know, potential users. So some of the things that I've seen that I think is very interesting, and I think some networks do already, and I hope that we can test more on, is like certain like playable or engaging video ads that users could participate in the ad itself. I think those have a lot of potential to hopefully take video assets to the next level. And I look forward to the different ideas that can come with that. And I have, you know, I've seen like and heard from different networks that there's like talks about virtual reality ads, which I would love to learn more about. So I think there are some quite exciting ideas that will come out of these conferences in the next months, years to come.
Great. I think that's maybe a perfect way to leave the scene. I think it's been great having you guys. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Helen. Thanks, Gina, for participating. Just a quick disclaimer that we're also going to send out the slides for sure. Also, probably edit the recording a little bit so you can share it with your teams for the people listening in. And then also a quick reminder that we'll be at GDC in San Francisco next week, as well as MWC in Barcelona. So if you want to meet the Adjust team, we'll definitely be there with the booth. We'll also do something called Mobile School, where you can learn more about certain key topics and themes in the world of mobile, and obviously talk to our team. I think Applovin will also be there in Barcelona, so you can meet those guys as well. And please look forward to and look out for more webinars. We've done quite a few on retargeting, re-engagement, fraud, acquisition, and this has been on video. So we'll add more topics to the mix. And yeah, thanks again for being here, and thanks for watching, and hope to see you all next time.